Hello everyone. Hello Roger. Greetings from London.
Yeah, so it's for Roger, right? So Roger, how old are you anyway? I mean, you came to me and you've so dedicated this boat. Well, you've been on it for like 90 years now. I'm not sure. But I tell you what, I couldn't have done without you. I cannot believe that you are so dedicated to this boat. Contest 3. In fact, you were dedicated to Contest 2 too when I was on board. And those were tough years with the snorkels and masts and all that.
Roger probably started early 70s.
Yeah.
And I don't think he skipped a season yet.
I've known Roger for a long time, but we sailed together on Contest from 1993 to 1998. When I first joined Contest, we had a pretty fundamental change in crew members. But one thing that was clear and was never talked about was whether or not Roger would continue in the Fitted Dinghy. Of course he was. He came with the boat. And when I left, after a 6-year campaign, there was another fundamental shift in the crew members within Contest. But one thing that didn't change was Roger was going to stay with the boat. It was never discussed, it was never an issue, it was just understood. It's just the way Roger was.
I guess I met Roger at the club sometime before dinghies, I would have thought, but probably got to know you through the dinghy, yeah, because I was with Jay, we sailed with Jay, and then you came on board with me, which was great. And then you're still there, which is impressive.
Well, I mean, I think I skippered for 7 years. I think this is 7 or 8. 7 probably. And Roger's always been there. And but then of course I sailed on the boat for a couple of years before that. And Roger was there as well. I think Roger's only missed one race in the last however many years he's been doing it, over 30 years, and he's only missed one race.
And what was he missing that race for?
We sailed the first 2 races in Mangrove Bay that day, and we did well. And Roger was, because Roger plays a lot of sports, not just sailing. Roger does squash and swimming, and Roger's and soccer in the old days. So Roger had a knee injury that I guess he didn't want to hike as hard as he knew he could. So he decided that he wanted to sit out that race.
Guess that means some of us weren't doing our part.
Yeah, the rest of us weren't hiking hard enough. So anyway, Roger sat out that race, and then after the race, we were packing up the boat, and it came out that that was Roger's first race that he'd ever missed. His race, not race day. The first race he's ever missed, and back then I think it was 31 years or something that he'd been sailing Fitted Dinghies. So I think that's pretty impressive. Roger's always the guy you can count on to be there. So.
What am I? I must be number 15th skipper that you've been with.
But he was one of the most, when I first started sailing on the Contest when it was painted green with the sailboat club of White's Island, then she floated around the yacht club head, and then she went to the dinghy club for a while and back to the yacht club. Roger got involved when I think she first came to the yacht club. And I know when I took over helming it, and I've been doing the main on it for Francis Patterson for many years, Roger came on board, and I don't think he ever missed a race since, and it's probably 40 years. Most incredible person. He never gives up. He's always enthusiastic, and if you want something done, he's the first one in the queue lined up to say, I'll be there to help. And he's an amazing person in that way. Never says no, always focused, always even-keeled, and one of the nicest people I've ever known in my life.
It's been great to have you on board. It was super that you were always there knitting and putting things together for us, that you'd help me out in the winter. The winter, that was always, varnishing and putting all that, being there to do all that stuff, man. Wow, dedication. I'm impressed, Roger, I am.
My memories of Roger is that he was always very dependable. He was dependable for practice, He was dependable for crew maintenance, boat maintenance rather. You know, he was the first one there for practice and the last one to leave. And on race days, often he would come the next morning and just tidy up. While we're out sailing, whether practice or racing, that was one area of the boat I didn't have to worry about. You know, the backstays, I didn't have to worry about the leeward backstay getting stuck or ropes getting tangled or worried about we're not bailing the boat out fast enough, because Roger was on the case and he knew what he was doing. And I think a large part of our success in contest, certainly when it came to things like the sinking trophy or the Bilge Boys race or whatever it was, we won that a few years, and it was largely because Roger was a quick bailer, and he must have bailed that boat out 1,000 times.
Well, he was always in the middle there. He was always doing backstays and bailing. You know, it's amazing. What a job. Best bailer I ever knew. Just incredible. Had the whole system down. Knows how to bail. And it's an art. I mean, God, I've had people on boat that had no idea how to bail. But Roger, you know how to bail. Out it goes. Back on the rail. Get that weight up.
Roger, because he was small and very strong, which he still is, he would love to bail. And he would bail and bail and bail. Then we needed somebody more agile to do the spinnaker pole, and he was again graduated from bailing, or he'd bail and then jump out of the cockpit and go up and hold the spinnaker pole up and down on the shrouds. I mean, he was that sort of agile person.
And does Roger have a favorite kind of bailer?
Not that I know of specifically, but I mean, the dishwashing pans were always the best. I thought. I don't know. Roger, do you?
Well, Roger's always calm in the boat. He's a man of not many words while we're sailing, which is great. But and Roger's, I mean, the other strength is he's been sailing the boat the longest, and he knows everything about the boat that there is to know. I mean, and he's, you know, he puts a lot of time into the program, which is, you know, probably, it's unmatched by anybody else on the program. So whenever there's a problem or, you know, you have a thought about something, Roger usually has seen previous skippers try that before, or you know, do that before. So yeah, it's good. It's great to have Roger around.
Never that I ever knew was there a screw up by Roger Mello. I don't think in all the 90 years you've been on the boat, all of them, that you've screwed up. I mean, it seems to me you always had everything under control.
Roger was always very good at. He was always he's a bit like Obama. He never got too high, never got too low. Remember one time we went Granaway Deep in Mangrove Bay, and I sailed the first race, and halfway up the beat I hit a boat and withdrew. The second race I hit the top mark and withdrew. And that was it. It was a 2-race day, and we'd sailed a leg and a half and withdrew from both races. And I remember Roger putting his arm around me and saying, "Don't worry about it, we'll get him next time." And he was very positive when he could have given me a lot of grief. And sure enough, we did. And we came back and we actually won High Point boat in Mangrove Bay that year. So he was just a rock. And as I say, very dependable, very enjoyable to be around.